Welcome back, guys. In this video we're going to be working on our Mariah here. So I just ordered a whole bunch of parts for it so we can get getting this thing ready for the lake. Victor's over there cleaning his golf clubs, his newfound hobby. Well, he's been golfing for a while, but it's just now that he's got more money, it's amplified. He's been buying a lot of golf clubs. But let's look into what we got for this boat. So this boat, ow, I have a fan going, so don't mind. This trim motor failed on me, so it literally locked up, and I disattached my Alpha 1 and made sure my Alpha 1 wasn't locked up, and it's free flowing, like I can raise and lower it easily. So it's not that, it's literally the motor went bad. So I bought a new one of those, and then also I got an electric fuel pump. It's down in there, and I need to wire that in. Right now I just have it wired to that switch right there, and what I want to do is wire it to a kill switch, which I have up there, and then from the kill switch to the switch. That way if I turn the switch on, the fuel pump turns on only if the kill switch is in, meaning if I was to fall out or something happened and the boat needs to shut off via the kill switch, it also stops pumping fuel with the electric fuel pump. And then one of the other things that I got is I got fluid. So this is 0W30, which is the required fluid for the power trim motor. So this is a Mercruiser brand, suggested brand right here. So I was gonna buy the genuine stuff, the OE stuff, but they only had one bottle in stock and I needed 3, so, or at least I think I need 3. I don't know how much I actually need. Hopefully I got enough. And this stuff is also $4 cheaper. It's 20 for the genuine, and this stuff was 16 each. So I went with this stuff because I could get all 3. And so I got all the fluid in. I ordered a new kill switch, and it came with this lanyard, but it had no end hook. So I bought this lanyard with this cool American flag thing on the end. So now I got a wrist thing that I can use, but I can also just have a clip and put it around a life vest or something. I could swap that clip onto it, I don't know. We'll see what we end up using. But this switch is gonna be for killing the engine, but also killing the fuel pump that I'm wiring in. Then we got a big battery disconnect switch because I plan on putting 2 batteries in my boat. And then last but not least, I got a whole trim motor assembly, wiring harness, bracket, and solenoids and everything. So this should be perfect because my bracket base was rusting out where it screws down, and my relays were going bad, and the wires were old and corroded. So this is just all in all amazing. So it comes with the whole, comes with everything. So, and it's just a bolt in. So I went with that. Let me unbox it real quick. Okay, I got it out of the bag. First impressions is it is so oily. They coated this. All that shiny stuff is oil. Everything is just covered in oil. So yeah, I had to wipe my hands off before I could touch the camera again. But it looks identical and it looks like it will bolt right in. So super excited about that. I'm gonna start by disconnecting the lines on the old one and undoing all the wire connections. And then we'll throw this one in and we'll fill it with fluid, and with this new one in, it should raise up and down, and that way we can prime the system by raising it up and down a few times, and then we can move on to doing all of our fun kill switch wiring. And then I also ordered a whole bunch of starter parts. So I got a new starter, I got all the new leads for the starter, and a whole bunch of little battery connectors and lead connectors to make custom leads with the hydraulic crimp I got. So the next video will be rewiring the whole starting system. Hopefully that fan is not acting up. I got a wind mic on here, but hopefully it's doing okay. But yeah, because right now when you crank it over, this battery will slow crank the engine, and there's smoke and that will format the starter, and the battery return will sometimes glow red, which is insane. So something's building excessive resistance in the system, and I'm pretty sold on the fact that it is the starter or some of the connections on the leads by the starter. So I'm just replacing everything to make sure this is in tip-top shape and reliable for the lake. So yep, all those parts are coming in 2 days, so that will be my next video. But let's get to work. Let's stop talking. So right here I got this all pulled up and out, and you see what I mean? The bracket is literally gone. There's no edging left on there at all, or there's no mounting hardly on that side as well. The screws thankfully were stainless, so they're all right. They're starting to rust, but they would have been so hard to get out if they were not stainless. So smart thinking, Mariah. But I'm gonna unhook these lines from here and down below, because I'm gonna blow through them and get all this old fluid out. Along with, I'm also going to undo the positive and undo the negative and wire wheel these crimps. We're gonna crack these lines down here first so it all drains down and through the lines. I think that's a smart idea. I got a little bucket hopefully to catch it all. If not, it's gonna go everywhere. But we'll undo this one and we'll undo the other one. Just dripping is crazy. You really think, I bet if I open up the cap at the top, it'll allow the air to push through it. Let me go do that real quick. I see what's going on. It's only gonna let what's in the line come out the bottom, because the reservoir, the lines are above it. So it only will bring fluid down the lines when the pump is running. I'll crack this side for you now. Same process, but you guys can't see me, so skip to when I get it off. Okay, I got both sides off. We are gonna move up to the top now. We are now inside of the boat, and I got the wrong socket size. Not socket size, wrench size. There we go. I'm gonna turn on the fan because the mosquitoes are buzzing. It'll keep you cool. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Sorry for the audio, but gotta do what you gotta do. Boom. We got the lines off. Gotta go get my air nozzle and blow some air through those lines. The only thing holding this thing in now is these ground and power wire. So let's get these off. Fairly simple to get that thing out of there. Yeah, I got some cleaning to do. So I'm gonna vacuum this up real quick before I throw the new one in. But let's do a little look over here. Brand spanking new one, old piece of junk one. So they're branded the same. Should be pretty high quality. This one actually has everything to be intact though, unlike this one. And yeah, this looks really good. Really, really good. It's got all of its mounting brackets. Unlike this one, super rusted. Not even there. So, yeah, this is gonna be really good. There's a mosquito! I'm turning the fan back on. I want the fan. So I got the area all cleaned out, and I got the new pump set right here in place, and I got this power drill, wherever I put it, right here, because I was hoping to screw them in with that, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it into these areas, so I might just have to manually screw them in. I got some more stainless steel screws, new ones though, so let's see how hard this is. They're not going in that bad. But this is gonna take forever, so. Yeah, skip to when I get them all in. So here we got our old negative and positive wires. This kit actually comes with all new wire that you can run all the way to the other side. So now I'm debating Do I do that? Or do I just hook these up to their previous locations here? Because I don't know. It's ran through a really nice wire loom thing down here. So that's the nice part about it. But these connections do have a little bit of rust on them and they're older wire, so yeah, I don't know. The thickness is about the same though. I mean, you're not losing much. So I'll probably run new. It'll probably be best. I'll keep these old leads though if I have issues with these ones starting to get hot or burn up or something. But yeah, new leads it is. So I'm just like carefully running this wire back through each one of these little loops because I want to save these leads for other things, or maybe to use if these ones are acting up and getting hot. But I didn't disconnect the battery, which I highly suggest you guys do before you mess with positive and negatives and running through close areas, because they touch each other and there's a huge spark, but my like finger was kind of in between. So I burnt my skin a little bit from them touching. It was like, you can see the mark on here. But yeah, kind of like, it was just a little, I was like, I've never been shocked by a 12 volt before, but I was like, that was pretty hot. It's kind of like a little taser. But yeah. Gonna keep running these through now that I got my battery disconnected, like you guys are gonna do before you start doing that. So yeah. There we go. It's coming through. Got it detached. So honestly, let's see if I can run these new wires through that wire loom. I was just gonna zip tie around that wire loom with the new wires, but I honestly think I can fish it through. So let's see how I do. Yeah. So I just blew out these lines, so I just got my little air hose here. I just can't see the line. But yeah, because I'm holding it. So now there's no more oil spraying through, it's just air. So it was like a little, some of it looked fine, some of it looked a little milky. So just getting that all out of these old lines. And I don't know which one goes where on this pump, but I'm gonna rewatch my footage so I know exactly. I have a good idea that the gray one goes on the left and the black line goes on the right, but to make 100% sure, that's why I get camera footage. Right now I'm getting ready to pour in all of our new fluid. Stuff looks super nice. This is just some 0W30. It's a spec on this power trim and steering fluid. You guys are wondering. I bought 3 bottles. We'll see how many I actually need. Oh my gosh. Whoops. Don't do what I just did. That is hilarious. Let me go. I don't know why I did that. I'm gonna go run the motor down. See if it drains it. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's probably fine. You just watch the fluid for me, Dad. Is it empty? Looks empty.
No.
Oh, it's full. From my view, it looks empty. Did it move? Is the trim, is the...
Yes.
That is what I call a boat lift kit. Dad, show them what just happened. Raise the boat up! That's probably really hard on the motor. Probably shouldn't do that. Fluid still looks good. Wow, that pump works really good. And just like that, guys, we got a new working trim motor. So do the Alpha 1 right there. So, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh my gosh, where are the bushings? So I'm looking, the one thing I've struggled to find with this is a bushing kit for this one. I'm pretty sure what I need is, well, I got the C-clips, I got the washers. I need little nylons to go inside these guys right here, little nylon bushings, and then big rubber bushings right here. My problem is I can find the whole kit for this thing with the nylon bushings, the end caps, which, I mean, I have all that kind of stuff because I bought a kit, right? But what I'm missing here is I'm missing every single kit I look at does not have these rubber pieces here. But I can find these rubber pieces separate. It's just I can't find them with a whole kit, which makes me like, well, there should just be a kit with everything. So I'm gonna order, I guess, the rubber bushings separate and order nylon bushings and the C-clips and washers and caps again. Because I bought this kit and then I just recently took it apart to make sure this wasn't locked up before replacing my trim motor, and it wasn't. But with that, the cheap nylon bushings I bought in my kit, they didn't really fit right, so they were like a pain to get out and they got destroyed, so I need to buy more. The water and everything leaking down below, that's actually just water from the boat draining out, just as a heads up. Because I believe it's not leaking. It wasn't leaking, was it?
No.
No, okay.
It's water.
That is water. Because we pressure washed the whole inside of the boat, so it's just been sitting in here and draining out. I've had a bucket under it for most of it, but yeah. So now it's time to hook in my new kill switch. So, going on to our next step here, like I was talking about yesterday, it's a new day now. We're going to be working on installing this kill switch and wiring up the bilge and the fuel pump. But right here, I want to talk about the fuel pump. So we got our electric fuel pump right here. This is what we're using right now to get fuel to the carburetor because I'm having issues with this mechanical pump. I'm going to figure out the mechanical pump issue here, but for now we're just going to run the electric pump. And once I figure out the mechanical pump, I'm going to actually run two separate systems that can go to the carburetor using some brass Y splitters. So if the mechanical pump, once I fix it, ever like starts to fail again, I'm going to be able to have a backup switch to power an electric fuel pump and run it off that instead. But I won't have it an inline system. It'll be a separate system, so I can shut off a little valve when I'm not using the electric pump, and I can just have an open valve to the mechanical. But if the mechanical fails on me on the lake, I can shut the little valve off for it, and I can run the electric pump on the other side. So I'll when I go fix this whole fuel issue, I'll make a little drawing of it so you guys can actually get a bigger idea of what I'm talking about. But for now, I want to show you how I'm going to wire up this pump right now. So right here off this pump, we got a red and a black wire. So that's a positive and a negative wire. And so I need to hook these up so that I can turn the pump on at the steering area of the boat, up at the dash of the boat. So right now I just have it hooked to the switch right here. That's hooked up to the battery back there. And so that's what I've been doing to test it, is I just flip that switch right there. But I did a nice little drawing here explaining to you what I want my game plan to be. So ideally a relay would be nice in this system, and I've drawn it up with the relay, but I don't think I'm going to do that at first. I'll show you what I want to do. So we're going to start at the battery, right? Which is the positive right here. We're going to run a positive wire. Well, okay, let's start here at the fuel pump. This fuel pump needs a ground. That black wire needs a ground. We're gonna run it to the battery. Boom. We got a negative at the battery. We got one thing the pump needs. Now we need a positive for the battery, right? So how are we gonna get that power to the battery? Well, coming here from the battery, we're gonna run the positive all the way up to our switch. Our switch is gonna be right here, right? So I'm gonna hit this switch and it's gonna turn on the fuel pump. Well, then, now that the power is going through the switch, it's slowly working its way back to the fuel pump. It's gonna hit the kill switch right here. My kill switch is this lanyard. So if you were to fall out of your seat or something, it would be pulled and the boat motor would shut off. That is what it's designed for right now. Well, I want to fuse into this so that if I fall out of the seat of the boat or something bad happens, yes, the motor will shut off, but I also want my fuel pump to shut off. So I'm going to wire into this, and so right here you can see I'm sending power to this 2-wire kill switch. Simple connection there. So now, if I have the lanyard in, now I'm getting power through the kill switch. And so then I'm just going to run literally the wire from the kill switch to the red on the fuel pump. So that is my big circle of power to the fuel pump, and that's how I'll wire it. So for it to work, I need to have my switch on and my kill switch installed. But if you want, there's an even safer way to do this. So say the pump pulls maybe something crazy like 10 amps, which I don't think it does at all. I'd have to look up the spec. But if you're in a situation like that, you don't want to be running a whole bunch of amps all the way up through all your switches, because I'm like, do I really want a lot of amps being pulled through my kill switch? I don't know. So I need to go buy an amp clamp so I could read all the measurements of what this pump actually pulls, and maybe I could look it up, I don't know. But that is going to be my purchase here soon. But what you can also do is you can run the pump, run the negative to the battery right here, and now the pump needs power. So let's see. If we do this, we'll run power all the way to the switch. It goes through the switch, it goes through the switch. Instead, we're going to send power over here to the relay. The relay is now going to have power through a little coil, and that little coil is going to build a magnetic field, and then it's just going to go to the ground. Well, that magnetic field that it created inside the relay is going to close a switch and send power, a new power wire that runs from the battery just through the switch into the pump to give it power. So now you have 10 amps on this little circle here and only 5 amps on this big loop here. So you have low amperage through all your switches and only high amps between a relay that can handle it, a pump that is designed to handle it, and a battery that can easily handle it as well. And so here's a different view of this. So your switches would supply power through this coil and then to the battery, and that coil would build a magnetic field to flip a switch that would send, say, this is your switch positive, this is just a battery positive. It would send the battery positive through the switch to the pump, which would be over here. And then from the pump, it would have its own ground to the battery. So you basically have too many loops. I hope this little photo made sense and helped explain to you kind of how you can go about wiring these things up. Because to me, this makes a lot of sense, and I think I've drawn it in a pretty good way for you guys to understand as well. So I'm actually going to run to the store and buy an amp clamp because I'm just interested in all these readings to see what we're getting here. I'm definitely probably not going to run a relay, but a smart idea would be between, say, without the relay, you're just running a big circle here between all the stuff, between the battery, or between the kill switch, your final connection, before this positive right here. It'd be smart to put an inline fuse. So if this pump starts pulling too much power, before it even gets to your switches, to maybe melt them or burn them, it would just blow a fuse right there. So you could, using your amp clamp, figure out the amperage, say it's 5 amps, then you could put a 10 amp fuse in there. So that if it was pulling way more than 5 amps, and it shouldn't be, it would just blow the 10 amp fuse. So thank you for listening to that. It was a lot, but hopefully it's made you smarter. So I just wanted to come in here to my fuel pump. So you may be asking, why won't you just run a relay then? Well, you see, the wires on this pump are really, really, really small. And so that makes me think that it honestly doesn't pull a lot of amperage. So I'll probably be able to get away with it, because if you look at my switch here, it has just about the same size wires on it. So if it has the exact same size wires that are on this pump, I'm pretty sure all my switches I have here are rated to be able to control and operate something like this little fuel pump. Here is a perfect example of when a relay would be very, very useful. So these are solenoids on this trim motor. And so this trim motor runs off battery power. So we got a huge lead from the battery positive and a huge lead from the battery negative that this pump will use power from. So all these little switches, or little wires right here that run from the buttons, the raise and lower, the alpha 1 in the back, the pump doesn't use the power from these. It just uses the power directly from the battery. So this would be your small little loop from the battery to the pump. And then all these little wires would be your bigger loop that goes to a whole bunch of switches. So you're keeping all this big power on just the pump and not all through your switches. So yeah, that's a little example, because you see how these big wires hook to these solenoids and then the little wires hook to the other side. So there's probably like a little coil inside here or something that then triggers a switch, and then it makes a click sound, and that's the switch closing, letting this big power go to the pump. So yup, that is a perfect example of when a relay would be really useful. So right here I got the bilge pump. I moved it out and out of the way, but I got it all wired in. And then right here I wired in this 10 amp inline fuse because it recommends it right there. So we got the bilge pump all ready to go. I got it hooked up here at the switch panel, so when I flip that on, it turns the bilge on. I just haven't attached it to the hose because, again, the next project I'm doing has just shown up. So we got all these connectors, we got these big leads, and a brand new starter. I'm gonna be refreshing and rebuilding the whole starter system because the one in here you can't see because it's very dark, but this thing is very old and rusty, and it has so much resistance when it cranks over. And yeah, I'm just like, let's rebuild the whole system because we don't want any failures out on the lake. So we got new starter and a whole bunch of new ends, so I can put new ends on all the wires, and the main wires to the starter are going to be replaced. So that will all be in the next episode though. So in this one, we got a lot of work done. It is Wednesday, week-wise for reference, and I'm hoping to get the boat out on Friday. So yeah, wish me luck. The next video will be thrown on the starter and maybe test, depends on how long the starter system takes and some of the other things we're gonna button up. And if it takes too long, then there'll be another video on lake testing it, or I might sneak it in with the starter video. So stay tuned for that one. Like and subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you for watching this one. We got a ton of work done on the boat. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.